Hello everybody, yes I am alive. I have not made a video in like 2 months. This is the first time I have got to use my lens for a YouTube video. This is my new lens that cost a lot of money. Hopefully the quality shows. I'm in love with this lens, I haven't put it down. It costs a lot of money as I said. So I hope it increases the quality. I've got a better microphone and a better lens. Now to get into what this video is going to be about. So this is going to look at my top 25 films of the 2000s. I did a video last year called Best of the Decade 2010 so far, and it was just like a montage. But I think I'm going to work my way back from now on. So this will be a video series, and I'll look at my 25 favourite films from every decade, right back to the 20s. And so I'll just get straight into it and look at my favourite picks of the 2000s. At number 25, I'm going to go with Doubt, featuring Meryl Streep and Philip Seymour Hoffman, and it's a film really led by its performances, and they're really good performances. So it's a story about lies and faith, and it's set in the Catholic Church. That's all I want to say about it. It's not a Catholic church, sorry, a Catholic school, and yeah, it's it's hard to talk about it. I don't want to spoil it. Doubt is great. Philip Seymour Hoffman is legendary. Meryl Streep, I think it's probably some of the best performances they've ever done. Definitely check it out. At number 24 is Ginger Snaps, which is a horror film, and I think it's incredibly underrated. Just checking that's recording. I think it's incredibly underrated, and it's a horror film looking at werewolves, and it's these two teenage girls, two sisters, and one of them gets bitten by somebody, and they suddenly start becoming into a werewolf. And gosh, I just think it's a really good film. It's a very underrated one. It's stylish, it's cool, and it really had me in suspense. There was a lot of tension. At number 23, Into the Wild, which is an excellent film. Just kind of exploring. It's a very primal film looking at man. The modern man going away from the modernity, the society we know today, and going into the wild, and a very thought-provoking film, and very real, very raw film. At number 22, Finding Nemo, a beloved childhood favourite of mine, which is getting a sequel this year, as you know. Finding Nemo is just a lovely film. I mean, it's just fascinating what Pixar can do. The fact that I can get emotionally invested in fish. It's a funny film. It's a heartfelt film. Just love it. And another Pixar film coming in at number 21 is WALL-E, which I think might be my favourite Pixar film next to Toy Story and Inside Out. Because there's something about WALL-E, the textures, the quality of it looks brilliant, and the story is brilliant. I just love the character of WALL-E. The fact that the first 25 minutes is basically silent, and then we go into space, and I think it's a very thought-provoking film because it is looking at technological advancement, and it's also looking at environment. So it's got environmentalist messages, and also themes of that sci-fi is always good at. What can happen if technology gets too far, and that's what I love about WALL-E, and it's a really charming film too. At number 20, Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street with Johnny Depp. I always loved that film. I know I don't like it as much as I used to, but I absolutely love the songs, I love the characters, I love those performances, and I love the cinematography of it as well. That really dark, macabre style that we come to know Tim Burton for. But I think Sweeney Todd is, one of the best horror films of the past 15 years, because they're going way downhill at the moment. And the songs, I just love them. I know half the songs by heart by now. And I think it's a very thrilling film. And I think Johnny Depp is excellent in it. At number 19, Mulholland Drive, which is a film I haven't seen in like four and a half years, but it's an incredible film. It's one that really gets your mind working, and I still don't know what it was really about. and that's what I loved about it. It's just such a it's a film that you experience, not understand at first sight. No, that's for sure. I think it has to be felt and experienced rather than understood, which can be said for a lot of films, and that's what's really nice about cinema, really good cinema. It's more of an experience than this simple cerebral experience. But yeah, that's a great movie. And number 18 is Three Iron from Kim Ki-duk, the Korean filmmaker. One of his best films. Three Iron is excellent. It's one of the best romance films ever, and it's such a simple romance film, and it practically has no dialogue, and that's what makes it so special. I mean, it shows pictures are more powerful than words. It was almost like a silent film, and it has really really nice music, really honest performances. Beautiful movie. At number 17, a very different film, Amores Perros, which is an extremely gritty film from Alejandro Inarritu, the Latin American filmmaker who directed Birdman and recently The Revenant. He's also he's an excellent director, and in Amores Perros, it's a non-linear story, looking at different people at different times, and their lives are all kind of interconnected. It's a really depressing film. It's really gritty. There's no happy ending, but it's just got such a rawness, and I'll never forget some of the images. Number 16, another Korean film, Memories of Murder, and I think this is one of the best crime thrillers. It's one of the best crime thrillers I've ever seen. I just absolutely loved it. The performances are excellent. It just has this really great story of, it's got generic elements, but it plays with the genre a little bit. You've got this good cop, bad cop routine. The detective's trying to get this murderer, but there's just something about it that makes it so special. Seeing the relationship between the two cops is excellent, and you really want them to find the murder case out, and just the way it progresses of all these facts coming out, it's really great. Just a solid crime thriller. Number 15, Downfall, which I watched maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and I absolutely loved that film. Downfall looks at the last days, the last months, the last months pretty much of Hitler, Adolf Hitler, and it explores his wife, the other officers in command, and there's just something about it that was really. It's a historical film. And it's not exactly trying to demonize Nazis or anything. It's just it's looking at the situation straight ahead in a kind of neutral way, and it's showing us what happened, and it's a lot more about the characters also than what it stands for in the big message of politics, and that's what was very fascinating about it, because we're seeing what all these decisions are doing to these individual characters and how they feel, and it's a really compelling story, a really really compelling story. At number 13, another Kim Ki-duk film, which I think is his best, Spring, Summer, Fall, Winter, and Spring. This film is just beautiful. I loved it the first time I saw it, and then I watched it three and a half years later. I fell in love with it even more. I think it grows with time and age. It's just such a wonderful, spiritual, natural, primal film. And it's also deeply philosophical. And it's a film that it's just got total tranquility. Almost nothing happens in the film, but for some reason it really does work. The cinematography is beautiful. You're seeing all this natural beauty, and it's really looking at what the title of the film is. It's looking at the cycle of life, and it's just really beautiful. The gorgeous cinematography is so suited to this tranquil story, and it hypnotizes you. And I think it's a film that I'll always watch if I'm ever really stressed out, because it just has you at total ease. I think that it's the only film I've ever experienced true tranquility and just total peace when you're watching it. Just an absolutely beautiful piece of work. A few films can have that effect on you. And at number 12 is Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. I'm going to go through Lord of the Rings individually. I'm not going to say trilogy. So Lord of the Rings 2, I don't think I need to talk much about Lord of the Rings in general. Lord of the Rings 2 is the middle film. It works, and I love it. Number 11, City of Life and Death. City of Life and Death is... It's shot in black and white, came out not too long ago, like a decade ago, I think, not even. Oh no, it came out in 2009. And it's a film about what Japan did during World War II in Nanjing. And it was fascinating watching this because I hadn't even heard of the Nanjing massacre before. And I was astounded that I hadn't. In history classes, most people are learning about the Holocaust, but there's a lot of other things that have happened in the world that I think really need attention drawn to. The Nanking Massacre was pretty horrific. I'll not get into it, but the way City of Life and Death captured it, it was so unflinching, so gritty, and so painful to watch at points, It really explores the horrors of mankind, the evil spirit within humanity, the banality of evil. And it's a really compelling film. It's not one that I'm going to watch anytime soon again, but definitely check it out. At number 10, Dancer in the Dark, another really, really, really hard-hitting film that'll, if you're human, it'll have you in tears. It is I haven't seen it in maybe 4 years now, but it's still fresh in my head. And what's strange about it, it's not exactly well shot. The footage quality is very, very grainy, but for some reason it works. It works quite well in the sense that it's telling this really gritty story, and it just shows that the visuals don't really matter so long as you have a really solid, strong story to tell. And Dancing in the Dark is certainly one of those stories. At number 9, The Departed, Martin Scorsese. It's interesting with this one. I watched this when I was like 16, and I kind of fell asleep watching it. I was tired, and two, for some reason, it just wasn't doing it for me. Then I watched it again in January there, and whoa, that is a brilliant movie. I actually like it a lot more than what it's a remake of, which is surprising. It's a lot. I think it's a lot better than Infernal Affairs, I have to say. The performances, every single performance in that movie is so great. Oh, just what a great movie, and what a great, good old-fashioned crime thriller. Excellent film. At number 8 is Memento, another hard-to-watch movie, because it really gets your mind working. Even though I understand the chronology now of the film clips, that each scene and its narrative structure, it's still a really mind-boggling film. And every time I've seen it like 4 times now, and it always feels like I'm watching it for the first time. You start to realize different things about the character, and it really is a puzzle. And what's great about Memento is it kind of explores the human condition. It explores memory, and it explores time. And it's really looking at the human mind in a really fascinating, thought-provoking way. That's Christopher Nolan's second movie, and it's just really impressive. Really impressive as a second film. At number 7 is the first Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Excellent movie. The Lord of the Rings universe is just wonderful. I love the characters. I love the lore. The book is excellent. And the performances are great. It's a wonderful, wonderful story. And it uses the visuals to bring it to life. This big fantasy realm. And it's a good old-fashioned story of exploration and adventure and journeying, and I love that sort of fantasy stuff. And Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, is still the best fantasy film we've ever seen, and we still haven't had one like it, because it is the bar to be measured to. And coming in at number 6 then is the final Lord of the Rings film, Return of the King, and I thought it was an epic conclusion to that trilogy. Okay, now we're going into my top 5. There Will Be Blood. That's another film I still need to see again. A lot of these I've only seen once, but they've just stuck with me so well, I'll never forget them. There Will Be Blood is a film that looks at capitalism, but it's a lot more than just about capitalism. It's about being power hungry. It's about a man who pretty much goes insane with power. You know, it explores that. It's looking at capitalism, and it's a film that goes beyond what it is on the surface. And for the story it tells, it's not exactly like at first glance an exciting story, but the way it's told and the performance from Daniel Day Lewis makes it one of the most engaging stories I've ever seen on film. And it's beautifully, beautifully shot. And number four is City of God, and this is from a director, Fernando Morales, who's, he did City of Men, but honestly, he's a director who hasn't really had any international fame since, and that was his either first or second film, I believe, and it's got a cast. Pretty much 90% of them are non-professional actors. I don't know if many of them are working today, but City of God is like, it's almost like the Pulp Fiction, sort of Tarantino-ish film of Brazil. And it's a really cool, gritty film, looking at friendship and looking at just exploring human violence again. And City of God, the way it's edited, love the editing, love the way it's shot, I love the characters. Really compelling story. Great storytelling. Number three, a very recent one, is Angels in America. I know technically this is a mini-series, but I know people treat this more as a movie. Angels in America is a 5-hour mini-series. It's split into like 4 parts, 5 parts? No, I think it's like 3 parts. Or just 2. It's like 6 chapters. Yeah, it's 6 chapters. It's got Al Pacino, it's got Meryl Streep, it's got Mary Louise Parker, it's got... there's one other person in there that I can't name right now. But excellent performances. And Angels in America is based on an epic play of the same name. And it's directed by Mike Nichols, not the play, the film. And wow, what a fantastic story. And this is kind of looking at the AIDS crisis in America and kind of the world, really. It's exploring AIDS and it's exploring sexuality. But there's so many overarching themes in that film. I'm not even going to begin to get into it. I just found it to be really compelling. Oh, Emma Thompson, that was the other person that's in it. Wow, just so powerful. I would love to hear what people think of Angels in America. If you're watching this and you've seen it, comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts on Angels in America. Because I feel like not many people have seen it or talk about it nowadays. Coming in at number 2 is my absolutely favourite action movie, The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is the bar for all action and comic book movies to me. I really don't enjoy comic book movies that much. I watch them, I have a bit of fun, but I usually just forget them after a while. And there's only really like 2 or 3 good comic book movies in my eyes, just because I never grew up being into all these Marvel, DC characters, and I'm just not a fan of the stories, because they're all kind of like the same thing. I know a lot of people are going to argue with me on that one, and I could argue more, but to keep this video simple, I'm just not a big fan of comic books. But The Dark Knight goes beyond the comic book movie. It goes beyond the action movie. It is a lot more than just this really cool, thrilling story about a superhero. It explores politics. It explores being haunted by your past. It looks at identity, most of all, the masks that we wear socially and in our own lives. And that's kind of what was always compelling about comic book heroes, was this idea of a alter ego. And I think The Dark Knight really kind of gets into the character Bruce Wayne a lot more psychologically than has been done before, which was done also in Batman Begins, which I would have to say would be, it should be in this list. It would be number 26 for sure. But it really looks at that character in a different way. And I think The Dark Knight's just one of the coolest. Because I think it's a really cool, thrilling movie. Really great action sequences. And then I think it's an absolutely fantastic story. And, the music, the cinematography, the excellent direction, the excellent performances from pretty much everyone. Gary Oldman, Heath Ledger, Christian Bale, even Morgan Freeman. All excellent performances. And coming in at number 1 for the 2000s is none other than Spirited Away. Spirited Away will always be my favourite animated movie, I think. I just absolutely love the characters, the story, the imagination, and it's just so beautifully drawn, and the music's wonderful, And it's a film that you watch and you feel like a kid again, going into this wonderful fantasy universe, and it's so crazy and strange. And I remember when I first watched it, and at the end when Chihiro, the little girl protagonist in it, is flying in the air. The music is sweeping. It looks really beautiful. Tears actually came to my eyes just from the sheer beauty of just how well it's drawn and how much I became invested in the characters. What a wonderful film! It's like the Alice in Wonderland of Japan. It really is. I couldn't stress enough to watch that movie. I just absolutely love it. I know it's a generic choice as your favorite Studio Ghibli film, but there's a reason that broke records when it came out. Spirit Away is full of imagination, and it's just a wonderful universe. From the legend Hayao Miyazaki. And that's it, everybody. This is a very fucking long video. I apologize. I've rambled quite a bit. It's really hard to be concise when you love movies. This is near 20 minutes, and I hope people actually watch. You know, I hope you've made it this far. If you have, thanks very much. And also, I just want to say thank you, everyone, because I just hit 500 subscribers last week, and I've done my best to try and get a video out there, and I thought, okay, think of something to make. So I'm going to do this, and just thank you, everybody out there. A lot of support from the YouTube community. I just do this for fun. You know, I don't expect to get famous. I don't expect to be, like, super popular. I just like to express my opinions on film, and it seems like people like that also. You know, I find like-minded people, because I haven't uploaded in 2 months, and I'm still getting comments, and I'm reading, and that's it's very encouraging to try and make another video. I've just been very busy. As you know, I'm still studying in Montana, but I promise you there'll be more videos. I'll do an update, just looking at what I've been up to, things I purchased and stuff like that, and I will get more videos up soon. Lots of plans for the summer, so stay tuned, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.